Hey y'all, this is Destiny. We up here for the night. Just watch me bite. These dance moves are tight. They're out of sight. I'm here to strive. Watch me thrive. Welcome to the Hive. Peace.
Welcome back, gamers. This is the Hive. I'm Bologna Suntan.
I'm Buffalo Prime.
No, I'm Jayce. Bringing to you our review of Destiny, one of the most hyped up games of the new system.
So don't change that dial, which you can't because we're not on television.
Or press that backspace button, because I disabled it.
Hey, don't even try.
Yeah, just sit here and watch our video.
Because I think we're funny.
We are funny.
Are we funny?
I'm pretty funny.
Okay, fair enough.
Into our first segment, gameplay.
Gameplay.
It's incredibly responsive and smooth.
I span around for 30 seconds.
The controls are super simple, easy to pick up and play.
If you don't know how to play a game, you're gonna learn today.
The strike missions are fun and challenging.
And for those of you who don't know what strike missions are, it's either you and two friends or you and two people that you matchmake with, and you go through long levels until you get to the very end, where they have high-level bosses for great prizes.
On the moon, there's an abomination. Buffalo and I destroyed the abomination. 30-45 minutes.
Too cool.
We destroyed it.
Destroyed. Sparrows are a blast to ride. They're super easy to control.
Probably the most responsive vehicle that I've ever touched in any game ever.
But with the good comes the bad. The lack of in-game map is frustrating. You got this little tiny little circle with a little arrow pointing you in the direction to go.
And see, most games that have a map system, you can bring up the map and be like, oh, here's the map of the world. Oh, here's where I need to go. I'm going to set a waypoint because I'm pretty sure there's something cool right there.
I would like to know where the populated enemies are. I would like to know exactly where the enemies are. And there's none of that.
At all times.
Yep.
But early on, loot is super fun because you're changing out your old stuff, you're getting new stuff, but as you progress through the levels and later in game, it becomes quite disappointing.
I picked up a level 7 chest on Venus, which is a 12 to 15 area. Frustrating.
And speaking of levels, the level cap at 20 is too low and too easily obtained.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, you can have the ability to power level beyond level 20 using only armor that has light ability, similar to armor that gives you a plus in intelligence and a plus to whatever. You will soon obtain armor that has a plus like 5 to plus 6, plus 7, whatever in light. And as you accumulate more armor in different parts of your body, that continues to build up your light amount until you over-level. So unless you wear those specific pieces of armor, you cannot level past 20.
The benefit to that, though, is if I saw a buffalo at the tower and he's just walking around, and he's level 25, I know he's got a good set of armor.
He's a good person to play with then.
Yep. And I'm taking him, and we're gonna go fuck up some shit.
So we're going to slide right into our next topic of conversation. Customization. They did it right. The guns are diverse in the world, very interesting, and you can also upgrade your guns.
Yeah, and what's really challenging though is later in the game when you try to get like level 20 guns from like the shops and the factions. In order to obtain those, you need to have a certain amount of faction points, which are incredibly long and very frustrating to get. That includes the weapons and the armor from the Dead Orbit, the New Monarchy, and the Future War Cults.
Being able to find new sparrows and ships is also very nice. The sparrows, you do get a speed bonus too. With each level you go up with the sparrow. And the ships, there's no statistical benefit, but they're super pretty to look at.
Oh, girl, I seen you put some 20 rims on there.
She got some stacks on stacks on
And
stacks.
it's bouncing shit.
Oh, yeah.
That shit look nice.
Shit look dang.
I like it.
The only problem with the customization though is early on in the game, you mismatch. You're not allowed to color customize at all. It's just what you pick up and put on.
Right, and that level 20 they do give you shaders, which even then you can't customize the individual colors and the individual clothing that you have on you. It's just a set of 2-tone or 3-tone colors that are applied to everything.
And let's be honest, sometimes you look like a fucking Christmas tree.
Exactly. So let's hop into our next segment, which is graphics. You can tell that Bungie spent a lot of time on the graphics in this game, from the beautiful skyline to the incredibly rendered ground, even to the enemies. It all looks great.
I literally just looked at the sky for 30 minutes.
And the fighting, they took everything that was confusing and frustrating about Halo and just made it so much better in Destiny. In Halo, if you're in the middle of a map and you have a bunch of enemies around you, it's chaos. There's bullets flying everywhere, you got those nades flying at you, and it's very confusing. You get lost and you die quickly. Destiny did a good job of taking the chaos of fighting and keeping it as chaotic, and it's still warfare, but it's easier to manage. You know what's going on. You have a better grasp of what's around you, and it's so much cleaner. The nice thing also is that the loading screens and even the orbital menu screens, although you are just sitting there in your ship kind of waiting and watching, and although the loading screens are kind of long, about a minute, and maybe
it's like 5 minutes, and your ship is just going.
But even how that looks is just it's relaxing, and they really did a good job on just creating that feeling of just being in the outer space world. And
but you're still looking at it, and you want to get in there, and you want to fight enemies, but still, your ship is still flying.
Load, and that's frustrating for new.
Loading is so annoying.
For a current gen system like this, it is frustrating to have such long loading times.
I'm not sure if they did put that in there just to show it, but I mean, I still feel like cut that down.
Now, the also nice thing is, if you have someone like Jayce as your fire team leader, that you get done with the mission, he's like, all right, cool, here comes the next one, loading in. It does take a long to load, but while you're loading, you can still open up your character screen and customize them and get all that loot that you picked up your last mission, equipped it while you're waiting for the next mission to load. Now again, downside though, the tower has residents, and they are so bland, uninteresting, and just brown.
I didn't know there was humans there.
Yeah, exactly, and they do not provide any contextual benefits. Also, big disturbing fact, when you see games like Gears of War, you see games like Call of Duty, even games like Mass Effect, I can't destroy my surroundings by throwing a grenade at them. I can't go over a dead enemy, pick up their gun. Even the Cabal that have the giant shields, I can't pick up their shield. Nothing is destroyed while in the middle of warfare. If I chuck a nade at the side of a mountain, I want to see the fucking rocks. Do it with me. You know? So, let's go ahead and move right along into our online and multiplayer as well as co-op. Word of advice, if you are a single player and you like playing games on your own terms, if you like playing games by yourself, Call of Duty, whatever the case may be, this may not be the game for you.
There's going to be Guardians all over.
All over the place. There's Guardians everywhere. As you're fighting in the world, the Guardian's going to be there with you. It is very rare to hop into a mission where you do not see other Guardians doing something in the world with you, which is great benefit.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're gunning down the enemy, you're kind of having a hard time, you're like, oh my god, they're overwhelming me. Guess what?
I see him struggling, I'm going in there and going,
even if you don't know him.
I don't know this guy, I'm going to help him out.
Now the big thing that they added with multiplayer, of course, everybody knows that the Crucible, which is where you fight other Guardians and you can test your skills in a PvP setting. I would ignore some of the gamers that don't understand how multiplayer works. There is a level equalizer that they include. It'll tell you if there's a level differential in place or not. So you may be sitting there at level 5 going, I don't really know, I kind of have crappy armor and crappy weapons, I don't want to get destroyed in the Crucible. That doesn't matter. Everything gets leveled out, so at the level 5 you can still kill those level 20s, those level 15s, whatever the case may be. It matters mostly on your ability to just play the game.
They got the Crucible and the Iron Crucible. The Crucible, you're going in, kind of even playing ground, and it's awesome. Iron Crucible, you're going with what you got. You're going against those levels 20s, what they got. It's
right.
It's how intense you want to make it.
Now, obviously we've all played multiplayer games that have vehicles, and you can tell in a lot of those games like World at War that the vehicle is overpowered. If you get into that tank, you win, essentially. Mm-hmm. This game does a really good job of balancing that out. If you're good at the vehicles, yeah, you can kill people and yeah, I'm awesome. But the second someone hits you with a nade, you get caught off guard and they shoot you, even just with the regular guns, they can take you out. So that's nice. The vehicles are very well leveled out. Next thing I really like about the Crucible are the maps. Unlike Call of Duty, where some of the maps don't make sense, and even in Halo, when they made maps that are way too big for 6 people, these maps are well thought out. It's not too big. You don't spend the entire game looking for other Guardians. It's just, they have a lot of room to grow.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
You know where your enemies are. There's no certain levels here and there. Straight to the point. Good maps.
And what's nice about it is that, again, it's just very well thought out. You can tell they spend a lot of time on that. Issue is they don't have a lot of maps yet, so there's obviously a lot of room to grow. There's also not a whole lot of benefits to playing PvP other than random loot. And by random loot, I mean it doesn't matter if you are the best on your team or you're worst on the team, it randomizes.
This guy went 15-1 as I went 0-25. Somehow I got an awesome chess piece while the rest of my team didn't get anything.
And that can be frustrating for people who do really well or people who did poorly. They want good stuff. If they did poorly, I'm like, well, it helps me out. I actually personally like the fact that there is random loot because it encourages you to play regardless if you're good or bad. It doesn't matter. You'll have a chance at loot no matter what. So I think that's a good incentivize. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of reason to play Crucible. You get kind of a little bit of experience, a little bit of loot.
You do get Crucible gear, but that's about it.
Right. there's no like, oh, you've killed 500 guardians. Oh, you unlock this, whatever, it's emblem, avatar, whatever the case may be.
Like I said, it's pretty much just for armor, loot. You can do that in story. You can do it in multiplayer. It's just whatever you prefer to play.
And there's no clan v clan battles just yet. There's no kill streak rewards, which I'm not saying they should include, but things of that nature.
Though. They do notify that you're on a killing streak. They do notify when you're losing your killing streak.
A lot of room to grow. And the final thing I want to mention about the community is that even though you have guardians everywhere, no one interacts with each other.
No one talks.
Other than people coming in and saving your ass, or you coming in and saving other people's ass, if you want to set up a raid with 3 other people, you really have to go to the Bungie website and go to the forum section, be like, hey, I want to do a raid. I tried to stand in the tower to get a bunch of people to do the strike mission on the moon with me, and I was like, strike mission, moon! Strike mission! Anybody? Strike! Guardians running past me. I know they can fucking hear me. So there's just no interaction there. It's really frustrating.
Crickets.
Yeah.
Now we're coming at you with the story. Ghost is flying around. He says, get up, Guardian, the Fallen are right on your tracks. He obtains a ship for you and he takes it to the tower. This is where you meet the Speaker. The Speaker tells you they're being overcome by the darkness, which are the Vex. They just kind of ignore that the Fallen are there, and they tell you about this greater power known as the Vex. As you're going through the story, if you played one mission, you played them all. They tell you, the Ghost tells you, I need to unlock a door, or I need to find some information. He then tells you, oops, I have alerted, insert enemy here, Cabal, Vex, Hive, etc., Fallen, and you fight off waves. He then says, I got the information, or unlock the door, you go to the next mission. As you go through the story, it's a lot of basic stuff. You don't really know what's going on half the time.
Yeah,
what am I here for?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very frustrating when you're in the middle of the mission, you have an objective over there, and you're kind of like, wait, what the heck am I doing again? I just killed these guys. Do I even need to do that? I have no idea.
A lot of random stuff going on. They don't explain the Vex. They don't really explain the Cabal. They hardly explain the Fallen. And the Hive, I think they're just there. As you kill these enemies, you do lock these Grimoire cards.
Now, the Grimoire cards are they're the lore that the game doesn't have that Bungie still explains through their website. So you hop on, you can learn more about each of the enemies that you're facing, you can learn more about the races, the world altogether. But why is it on the website and not in the game?
There is lore, but you gotta go on the website to obtain it. They tell you about the Traveler, they tell you about the Speaker, they don't really tell you about why you're risen from the dead, and there's just a lot of unexplained. I'm all about story, and when there's no, attachment to my character, there's no emotion, I can't get into a game. With the story comes great music, though. Well, in the start at least. You listen to some good orchestra, you listen to some good intense music, you start reaching farther into the game, and all of a sudden it's just like, it starts getting repetitive, there's no, memorable songs, there's no memorable, bam, there's some awesome music as I'm destroying, enemies. Until the very end. Then you get to the end and you're fighting off the last few waves of enemies, and the music's jamming, you're dramatic, it's emotional, kind of emotional, until you realize, I just beat the game? You didn't, there's nothing there. You just, nothing.
Right. Now, for all of you that are maybe listening to the game through Turtle Beach headsets like I have, or, any other kind of sound amplification device, the sounds of the game, other than just the music, the sound effects are phenomenal. The gunfire feels real. The world, even the cries of the enemies feel great, just listening to them. Even the ground in the moon oozes. You can hear it go... that's actually really cool. And the game sounds phenomenal. So what we're going to move on to now is our commercial break. So go ahead and check out a word from our sponsors, and we'll come back to you with some crazy opinions on this game.
Bologna, I was thinking the other day, I want to know what your favorite game is.
Jayce, my favorite game is Pokemon.
Pokemon is shit. First of all, I'm going to teach a water Pokemon how to fucking swim? Okay, I'm 21, I'm riding on a bike, give me a fucking car. And if I really hate a fucking Pokemon Magikarp, I want to see it die.
Jayce! No! Jayce, I can save you! I can't cure! Cure! Why isn't it working? My shirt says cast cure and my cure didn't work.
It's okay. It's okay.
He was kind of right about the fucking trainer thing, though. I mean, that's... Welcome back, gamers. That was our word from our sponsors. Now we're going to go into a brand new segment that the Hive's introducing called The Last Stand. Each of us will take 20 seconds to give you a reason to buy not to buy, or just one solid opinion that we have about the game. We're going to start with Bologna Suntan first.
There's no you versus the world. If you're getting beat up by the world, there are other Guardians there to help you. They will come in and help you. It's just phenomenal.
My last stand is this. If somebody tells you that Destiny doesn't have enough content, they are insane. When you beat the game, Bungie's not going to sit there and hold your hand after you've played the 16 hours it takes to beat the game and go, hey, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. They let you go. And if you don't understand that you need to collect better armor, that you have plenty of patrol missions with random events, if you can't do strike missions in Crucible, and you think that the game is over once you beat it, you're insane and you should sell the game back. Phenomenal amount of content.
I'm all about story. Destiny didn't give me a good story. I went through the whole game and I was just looking for that emotional tie.
Kyrie, remember what you said before? I'm always with you too. I'll come back to you. I promise. I know you will.
Attachment to the character. I want to know the lore. It didn't give that satisfaction to me like I wanted. So honestly, it was kind of a downer.
So let's go ahead and move into our final rating of the game. And what are we going to rate this on?
How many Hadoukens from Ryu would you take to the fucking face?
Fucking face.
Straight in the fucking face.
How many would you take?
How many Hadoukens would I take? I'd take all 5 Hadoukens right to my face.
That's max, right? Only 5.
That's max.
I will agree. I will take 5 Hadoukens to the face. This game is one of my favorite games on the PS4. I'll take it right to the face. 5 times.
I love the content of the game. I don't like the story. Story is a big part of the game, and if there's no emotional attachment to it, I can't do it. I will take 4 Hadoukens to the face.
Overall, your opinion of this game will boil down to this. You have to sit there and you have to play it. You can hear listen to our reviews all you want, not any reviews that you want, that are out there, but you need to sit down and play it yourself. So check out our comment section below and tell us what you think. How many Hadoukens did you take to the fucking
Hadouken!
Right. How many fucking Hadoukens in the fucking face?
Straight to the fucking face.
Right. And check out our description section below too, where we break down a little bit more of an actual 1 to 10 scale that we created for this game. And thanks so much for watching. Destiny, is it Game of the Year? We don't know yet, but maybe. Just maybe.